Welcome back to another Run Bike Mike video. My name is Mike. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Today, I want to take a look at 4 different CO2 injectors made by Uniche, show you how they work, and I also want to show you how much PSI you can get with each one of these injectors with 3 different CO2 cartridge sizes, a 16 gram, a 20 gram, and a 25 gram. Quick disclosure, Uniche did send me these products to review. They did not expect any particular type of review. They did not ask me to give a positive review only. They did ask me to make a quick video about these products, showing what they are and what each one of them can do, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's take a look. For those of you not familiar with what a CO2 injector is, this is a tiny one. They come in all different sizes, and you use these cartridges filled with CO2 to fill up your tire really fast when you're out on the trail and you get a flat. So let's take a look at the very first one. This is the Sprint by Uniche. It is a very, very tiny CO2 injector. It weighs 9 grams. And if you had this in your pocket, you wouldn't even know it was there. It's so tiny. This particular one will only work for Presta valves, and it is threaded, so you can only use threaded CO2 cartridges with it. Now let's take a look at the Elite. This is their next version up for the lightweight CO2 injector. With this one, you get a button to release the CO2. You also get the ability to use Schrader and Presta valves, along with this being able to thread onto the valve that you're trying to inject CO2 in. This one also is a threaded version, so you can use any cartridge that's threaded. The Elite does come in at 18.8 grams, so it is quite a bit heavier than the Sprint, but at 18 grams, we are still talking an extremely light CO2 injector. Now, both the Sprint and the Elite version come with these little foam things that will slide over the CO2 cartridge. This will help prevent the coldness of the cartridge getting to your skin whenever you're using them to inject CO2 into your tire. CO2 cartridges get very, very cold whenever you release the air out of them. Next up is the Pro model. This one is a little bit different, as it will only take a 16 gram cartridge, and it also will take threadless or threaded cartridges. However, you can only use that 16 gram cartridge because it is not threaded on the inside here. Therefore, you have to use the case that it comes with, which will only accept a 16 gram cartridge. Now, the benefit of having a case like this is you don't need to have one of those little spongy things on. You can just put the cartridge in here and inject it. This shell will actually protect your hands from getting too cold whenever using this injector. Just like the Elite, it also has a button, accepts Schrader or Presta valves with this threaded type head on it. Now, the Pro model comes in at 48 grams and is significantly bigger than both the Elite and the Sprint, but you get that advantage of being able to use either threaded or non-threaded cartridges, with the downfall of it only accepting a 16 gram cartridge. And then last but not least, we have the Pro Combo. This is the exact same unit as the Pro, with one advantage. It does come with a puncture kit right here on the bottom that you simply just unscrew. And it has your bacon strips on the inside with your bacon fork here, with one other special feature. This bacon fork unscrews, and then it will thread simply into the head of this unit. Once you've got this threaded on here, you can actually fix the puncture and inject the CO2 in the tire at the same time, as this bacon fork is hollow and the CO2 will go straight through the bacon fork. Now that you've seen the full lineup of the Uniche CO2 injectors, let's go ahead and let's take a look and see what these things are like in action. That way you can kind of determine which one will work for you. All right, let's go ahead and check out the Pro Combo. Let's start with a nice flat tire. We can insert the bacon strip. Let's go ahead and put the 16 gram CO2 cartridge in. And this is the button that we will use to release the CO2 once we have the bacon strip inserted into the tire. Now that you've got the CO2 cartridge empty, go ahead and pull out the bacon fork. Let the bacon strip seal up the hole. Once you've confirmed that it's fully sealed, you can go ahead and cut the excess off. So the Pro Inflator is next, and this is the one that has the special sleeve that you can only use a 16-gram cartridge in. So to use the Pro or the Pro Combo, you just simply unscrew the cartridge holder from the base of the inflator, and then you slide your 16-gram cartridge down in there, and then you just twist this on until it's fully tight, and that will puncture the CO2 cartridge. So with the Pro and the Pro Combo, you can just do exactly like the Elite, where you're threading this on by turning it clockwise. Once you get it on there, it is a one-handed operation. You've got this nice little button. Let's go ahead and see how it works. And you can just unthread it, pop that off. This is a 16-gram cartridge with the sleeve on it and the Sprint version of Uniche's CO2 injector. So how we do this is we simply just start to thread on the cartridge. And you'll get to a point where you feel it kind of stop. What you want to do is you want to turn all the way. Just keep turning it. And then once you've got it actually fully turned, it has now punctured the cartridge and you're ready to release the CO2. So to do that, you're gonna apply it to the valve and you're gonna twist back. There's a lot of CO2 injectors that actually work this way, and it's actually a pretty nice little setup. All you gotta do to get the Sprint version to work after we've tightened the cartridge all the way down, push it onto the valve just like this, and then slowly, as you're pushing down with this hand, slowly turn back and you'll hear it start to inflate. And yes, it's definitely very cold. There we go. Let's go ahead and let's check to see exactly how much pressure is in the tire now that we have a 16-gram cartridge fully emptied in it. 18 PSI. All right, now let's go ahead and switch over to the Elite CO2, and I'm going to use a 20-gram cartridge this time. There we go. That's a 20-gram cartridge that is threaded, because this particular model only works with threaded cartridges, but it will work with Schrader or Presta. In order to use this, you just simply thread this all the way on. You do not have to pull back on this at all or unthread it just a little bit like you do with the Sprint. This one you just thread all the way on, and whenever you're ready to release it, you've got your release valve right here. So next, we just need to thread this onto the valve, and then we can start releasing the CO2. All right, with the Elite, you're just gonna simply just pop this on here, just like this, and then start turning it clockwise, and eventually it will tighten down. Once you've got it threaded on and your cartridge is on there, it's just a one-handed operation. You just click the button here. And this is a 20-gram. So we'll see how much this fills up my 29er 2.25 inch tire compared to the 16-gram, which only filled it up to 18 PSI. Okay, let's go ahead and take it off. We just thread counterclockwise. Let's take our gauge and see exactly how much pressure we've got. 21. So 21 PSI is quite a bit better than the 18 that we got out of the 16-gram cartridge. 21 out of a 20-gram cartridge is pretty good. I feel like I could safely ride down the trail with that, considering I normally run 22 to 23. Okay, now I have a 25-gram cartridge. Let's go ahead, let's get this attached. All right, let's see how much PSI this will actually put into this tire. Got it all. Let's go ahead and check the PSI. 25 PSI. So that's what, 3 more PSI than the 20 cartridge. All right, that's pretty cool. That's a good test just to kind of see where it was at. I figure each one of these cartridges is going to give or take just a little bit. There you go, that was all 4 CO2 injectors made by Uniche, the Sprint, the Elite, the Pro, and the Pro Combo. All of these are made really well. I'm actually very impressed with them, but I do have to say, my favorite one, and the one that I'm gonna be carrying in my Camelback whenever I go out and ride, is the Sprint. This thing is so light and so compact, and I love it compared to my Crank Brothers version, how this is 90 degrees. Where my Crank Brother version, it just basically goes straight up and down. This 90-degree angle allows you to get a little bit more leverage when pushing down on the stem, so you don't have to worry about CO2 leaking out. And it also being only 9 grams and extremely inexpensive, right around $12 on Amazon, you can't beat this product. And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Do you prefer CO2, or do you like to carry a pump, or do you carry both? So stay tuned. If you guys are into using more hand pumps than CO2 cartridge, I have 2 different versions that Uniche sent me that I will be making a video on within the next month. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps out my channel and I greatly appreciate it. We're getting really close to 4,000 subscribers and that is awesome. Thank you so much to everybody who has already subscribed and continues to watch my content. But as always, get out there, run, bike, build, and just have fun. We'll see you in the next one. Just a baby CO2 injector. So cute.